Hey guys, it's Teresa McKee again. First, I wanted to start my presentation off with a poem by Walt Whitman, titled, When I Heard the Learned Astronomer. When I heard the learned astronomer, when the proofs, the figures, were ranged in columns before me, when I was shown the charts and the diagrams to add, divide, and measure them, when I, sitting, heard the astronomer, where he lectured with much applause in the lecture room. How soon, unaccountable, I became tired and sick, till rising and gliding out, I wandered off by myself in the mystical moist night air, and from time to time looked up in perfect silence at the stars. My mother-in-law, who is a teacher, actually shared this poem with me. She reviewed my introduction video for my presentation and instantly thought of sharing this poem. Walt Whitman was an American poet, essayist, and journalist. My interpretation of this poem is about sitting in a lecture hall and listening to an astronomer. Whitman does appear to be listening, but throughout the lecture he realizes he needs to get some air. At this point, he appears to be a little overwhelmed. When he leaves the room to go outside, Whitman stops and looks up at the stars. This is when he realizes the silence captures the beauty of them, and that with science comes great beauty. I think this poem relates a lot to what we are doing in astronomy. During the semester, we have been sitting in the lecture hall, listening and learning. Now it's our time to walk outside to get some fresh air and sit back and take in the beauty of our universe. Or in this case, we can share what we have learned about the beauty of what our universe has to offer. I would like to begin and talk about what does Aurora Borealis and Aurora Australis mean. The name Aurora comes from the Roman goddess of dawn and means sunrise. Borealis is a Greek name for the north wind derived from the word Boreas, and Australis is the Latin word which means southern. Aurora Borealis and Australis are defined as an aurora that occurs in Earth's northern and southern hemispheres. The most common names for these auroras are the northern lights, which are the Aurora Borealis, and the southern lights, which are the Aurora Australis. Both displays are actually mirror images of each other. What is the role of the sun when related to the auroras? The sun plays an important role in how the auroras are created and seen on Earth. It all starts with the sun's magnetic fields and how they distort and twist as the sun rotates on its axis. Over time, the fields can knot together and create a burst that causes sunspots. When the sun's surface temperature rises and falls, this can cause particles to escape from the sunspots region and enter into Earth's atmosphere if Earth is in the path of the particle stream. The mixture of the charged particles from the sun, striking atoms and molecules within Earth's atmosphere, causes the atoms to become excited, resulting in the beautiful dancing lights. The diagram on this slide shows how the charged particles are released from the sun and move into Earth's atmosphere. What are the northern lights? The lights are created by collisions between gas particles that are electrically charged. These particles are released from the sun and enter into the Earth's atmosphere. The lights appear in different colors, such as shades of red, yellow, green, blue, and violet. The most common colors that are seen are pale green and pink. You can also see these lights in different shapes and patterns. This is what gives it the dancing appearance. The lights can be viewed in patterns such as streamers, arcs, rippling curtains, or shooting rays that light up the northern and southern hemispheres. The lights are about 50 miles in length and can be seen as high as 400 miles from the Earth's surface. I have actually included a short video that Professor Peterlin shared with me showing the northern lights while they appear to dance and showcase different colors. These lights were seen at the Hopewell Rocks in New Brunswick, Canada in September 2014. Professor Peterlin mentioned that he was in a small town of Alta on the Bay of Fundy in Canada the night before the video was taken. He was actually able to see the glow of the lights, but his view was blocked by some mountains. The following day, he went to the Hopewell Rocks and met Kevin Snare, who is the naturalist and the person who recorded this video that we are about to see. Mythology and legends of the Northern Lights. During the time of our ancient ancestors, they did not have the knowledge and research we have today regarding the Northern Lights. So you can probably imagine what they may have thought when these lights began appearing in the sky. Our ancestors actually believed that these lights were possibly spirits, gods, or celestial warriors. The ancient Greece and Romans. As mentioned earlier, the name Aurora Borealis derived from the Greek words meaning sunrise within the winds. Of course, the sighting of these lights for the Greeks would have been rare because of being so far south, but it can certainly be possible. The Greeks believed that Aurora was a sister of Helios and Selene, which is the sun and the moon. To alert her siblings of the dawning of a new day, she would race across the morning sky in her multicolored chariot. The Romans believed Aurora was the goddess of dawn, so they too believed that the northern lights resembled a new day. Europe. Again, southern Europe rarely would see the northern lights, but it was possible to occasionally see them depending on the intensity of solar activity. When the northern lights do appear, they tend to be more of a reddish color within the night sky. Europeans actually were scared when they did see these lights. France and Italy believed that the lights were bad omen heralding the outbreak of war, plague, and death. Strangely enough, a few weeks before the French Revolution, Scotland and England noticed the red blaze within the sky. Because of this, it was a confirmed sign that bad was to come. China, Japan, and Australia. Due to the location of China, sightings were rare, but the Chinese viewed these lights in awe as they illuminated the night sky. They believed the lights were associated with dragons because the lights were seen as a celestial battle between fire-breathing good and evil dragons. The Japanese believed when the northern lights were presented and a child was conceived under them, then the child would be blessed with good looks, intellect, and good fortune. The southern lights are a common sighting in Australia. Australians believe the lights represented their gods dancing across the sky. North America. Due to human settlements being few and far between, tribes would form different thoughts and opinions as to what these lights in the sky were or meant. Tribes, such as the Cree Indians, believed that the aurora reflected life's cycle. They believed the lights were spirits of the dead who were still trying to communicate with their loved ones that they left behind. The Algonquins believed Nanabahazo, their creator, created the lights from fire. They viewed these lights as a sign from their Creator that He was still present and watching over His people. Across many other tribes, the lights were believed to be God's spirits, fire, and even spirit guides to lead the way to the next world. So it does appear that the North American tribes had similar beliefs that the aurora was spirits, good and bad, of those who have passed. Northern Scandinavia, Iceland, and Greenland. Those in Iceland believed the lights were associated with childbirth. It was believed that as long as the mother did not look at the lights during childbirth, her pain would be relieved during delivery. Greenland also believed the aurora was related to childbirth. They viewed the lights as souls of stillborn or babies that were killed at birth. Finland's myth of the aurora was thought to be caused by a fire fox running quickly across the snow with its tail causing sparks to fly into the sky. Then, in Sweden, they believed these lights to reflect good and to bring good. They viewed these lights to be a gift from compassionate gods providing warmth and light. Other parts of Sweden actually believed the light reflection was provided for fishermen and farmers to help provide a good harvest in the coming year. The Baltic states. The Estonians had a much simpler belief, and in my opinion, a prettier one. They believed the aurora was horse-drawn carriages that were carrying heavenly guests to an amazing celestial wedding. These myths and legends are just a few of what our ancestors thought the Northern Lights were. As you can see, they all had different beliefs, and I find them very interesting and unique. What causes the different colors? We are able to see the different colors depending on the type of gas particles, as well as the type of molecules that are present. When particles collide with oxygen, you will typically see more yellow and green shades. Whereas, when particles collide with nitrogen, you will typically see red, violet, and some blue colors. Another reason why the different colors are present in the Northern Lights is because of the type of collision. Atomic nitrogen will cause blue shades, where molecular nitrogen will cause more purple shades. Finally, altitude plays an important factor as also. Green lights appear up to 150 miles high, where red is above 150 miles, and blue, purple, violet are above 60 miles. The collision between particles not only causes the different colors, but it also causes the lights to appear to be dancing within the sky. Where can we see these lights? Now, I wish most of us can just run to our backyards and watch the beautiful display of these Northern Lights, but I know that opportunity is very rare. Instead, there are plenty of places you can go to watch and observe these lights. As I mentioned earlier, the aurora can actually be seen in the northern and southern hemispheres. The best places to see the Northern Lights are the northwestern parts of Canada, such as the Yukon, Nunavut, Northwest Territories, as well as Alaska, because they are closer to the magnetic pole. The Southern Lights can best be viewed in Antarctica because of being close to the southern magnetic pole. But due to the cold temperatures and not as accessible, most do not visit this location. So it is good to remember the closer you are to the magnetic poles, the better your chances are at seeing the aurora display. Another thing to remember is, the further away from light pollution, your chances are better at seeing the lights. Very similar to viewing stars, the city lights tend to drawn out the Northern Lights, which reduce your chances of being able to experience the amazing display. The best time of year to view this beautiful display is during the winter season in the north. September, October, March, and April are the best months to view the northern lights. The reason for this is because of the lower levels of light pollution and the clear, crisp air. Also, the best time of day to view these lights is up to 2 hours after sunspot activity, because the lights are typically brighter and more active. Last month, I came across an article on the northern lights. NASA actually released a video, time-lapse, of what the northern lights look like from our space stations. I hope you enjoy this video I have included. I find it very interesting and beautiful being able to see what the northern lights look like from above. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed learning and viewing the aurora borealis. I enjoyed sharing the beauty that can be seen within the sky and the beauty behind these lights.